Hi, my name is Bryce Johnson, and today I would like to talk with you about e-commerce and digital marketing. Now, I'm actually doing a presentation for my interpersonal communication skills class right now, and we were tasked with reading an academic article about effective interpersonal communication skills, right? So, if everything wasn't going on with the coronavirus and we were still, seeing people and actually having conversations, then I probably would have read, like a CIA or FBI, like nonverbal book or nonverbal communications, stuff like that, right? But I've noticed that, we've seen an interesting trend in the world right now in the sense that consumers as a whole are now adjusting to the new reality of online shopping and using e-commerce sites. And so I think that we have an interesting opportunity now to take advantage of this and to kind of really spearhead, a new reality after the coronavirus. We now have the opportunity to use technology to our advantage, and if we can learn to use that to, communicate effectively with people through technology, then I think that we could really, see some cool things happen in the world. Not only, within like my life and your life, but, just overall from, kind of a global standpoint, right? Like the more that we help each other and the more that we learn to, adapt these new technologies and these new business models and really just kind of, go with the flow of how things are, then the better that we're going to be all around. So for my project, I've actually read a book that's called E-Commerce Evolved by Tanner Larsson. Now, this isn't what you would say a quote-unquote academic article or, scholarly book, right? And I think that's what I like about it, to be honest with you. If you've ever looked and tried to see any like academic articles or research articles about e-commerce and digital marketing, it just doesn't exist. And like you go, I'm in a couple classes like media effects and, like I took a social media marketing course, whatever. They don't really teach you anything that's relevant, right? So you might see on YouTube about, how you can run an e-commerce store, how you can start a Shopify site in 48 hours, make money online, make millions. It's not really that easy, and I think that a lot of people have realized that, right? But what I don't think that is fair is that, I see all these people who they're, mentors or coaches or whatever, and I get it, they have information and they're selling that information and through, a membership course or whatever, and they're teaching people basically essentially what I'm about to teach you. But they're charging for it, right? Some of these courses will land you around $2,000, $5,000. I'm just going to give it away for free, to be honest with you. I think that I'm actually in a pretty unique situation in the sense that, I'm graduating this semester, and so, I see the world not only from a business perspective, shout out Apollo Empire if you guys want CBD, check out our website, but I see it as from a business standpoint as well as seeing it from, a student standpoint and from a college student standpoint, right? And one that's supposed to be graduating and stepping into this new world. I look around to my peers and to some of the people, even my parents' friends, and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to adapt. They weren't, adjusting or moving towards an online model before the coronavirus, and now they have no idea how to do it, right? They try to look it up, and unfortunately, the people who are typically, selling e-com or these kind of information, they're usually really good at digital marketing, so they're always going to be up at the top. And so you're going to get all this fluff, right? And you're never getting any real information. I've been doing e-commerce sites since my sophomore year of college, right? And I'm still learning. It's still a process. It's not anything that you're going to pick up overnight. But I really, after I read this book, I felt like I had a better idea of kind of proven effective strategies on how to communicate effectively with customers and clients. And so my hope is that basically by giving this to you, that you really get some value out of it, Whether you are a student that's watching this and, this is your inspiration to go out and make your mark on the world and create your e-commerce site, hey, great for you. I'm not really the type that's gonna be, motivated, yeah, do your thing. That's not really my style, right? I'll just give you the information and help you out, let you do whatever let you do kind of as you want. Maybe you're a business owner right now, and maybe you're struggling because you haven't thought about an online store. Maybe you already have an online store, but you're just, you're getting traffic, but you're wondering, hey, why are all these people seeing my site, but I'm not getting any people to buy, I'm not getting any customers? are your customers coming in, and then, how, like, are you getting them afterwards? Are you kind of carrying them on and getting them to buy other products? It's questions like that I feel like a lot of people don't think, and I know I didn't really think of when I first started out. So Tanner Larsson, to kind of tell you a little bit about him, he has done millions in revenue from his 3 e-commerce sites and has basically been in the game since 2001, right? So he's like an OG in the game. He's been doing e-commerce. He's been, that's almost like 19 years now, since like the beginning of the .com, and he's really got to see, at least from my perspective, he's got to see the evolution of online marketplaces and online stores. And so I think he's really got some great insights from that. In the sense that, like I said, it's not really an academic journal. That's what I like about it, because academics are so far behind on anything technology. Like, it's just insane, right? They'll teach you about what is Facebook, and I'm like, yo, I've known about Facebook since 2008. I know what Facebook is. I want to know how to do better Facebook ads, right? I want to know how to target my audience better. I want to know where my advertisement budget is going, where I'm spending my money to get my customers, and if it's working effectively, right? They don't teach you that. Everything is based off of the old system, right? And to tell you the truth, the people with that ideology and the people who refuse to adapt, they're not, like, there's no way that they can just keep taking on all these, global catastrophes and just keep adapting. If you remain so rigid in your beliefs and unable to change and unable to accept that sometimes you don't have the knowledge that's necessary, then you're not ever really going to get any better. So Tanner Larsson talks in his book about there are only 3 ways to grow a business, and that is to 1, get more customers, to 2, increase the size of your orders, and to 3, increase the order frequency. I think that a lot of times most people only think about communicating with customers and marketing from from the first standpoint, right? They always just trying to get more customers, get more traffic. How do we get more people to our website, right? And I think that by neglecting the increasing the size of your orders and increasing your order frequency, you're missing out on so many different opportunities to basically be able to reach back out to your customers, to be able to bring them back in, build that brand loyalty, and also to be able to increase, the amount of money that you're making, which is the whole reason why you're in business, right? Or why you're thinking about starting your business. So the key distinction, basically, that it talks about in this book is the difference between sort of funnel-based advertisement and versus like sending people to your storefront, right? So a lot of people, they'll run their ads or they'll run their promotions and they're just sending people to their homepage, right? All they've got is an online shop. Yeah, you might have gone around and looked at your competitors and seen what everybody else is doing, built a site that looks somewhat similar to the kind of industry that you're in or the niche that you're in. Why are you not getting any sales, right? Well, that's kind of the issue, right? Is that you're just sending people to your store and you're not directing them, right? So humans naturally, we want to be kind of ushered in to where we're trying to go, right? We want to be directed. We want to be led. We want things to be easy. And if you give humans enough choices, then they won't typically make the right one, right? So if you're sending people to your storefront and you've got links for all these different products and you've got your about and shop all and categories and home and learn more and blog posts, and it's distracting, right? They don't know what to do. They don't know what to look at. They're coming to the site and they're like, leave, right? Boom, you just lost a customer, walked right out of the door because they didn't know what they were going to be doing, right? So the difference between sending people to a funnel is you get to segment your users and you get to personalize the experience for them. You can do this effectively by using automated campaigns, and so which I'll talk a little bit about a little bit later. And the idea here basically is to hyper-target your customers down to almost like a one-on-one, I'm just talking to you kind of thing, right? So if somebody comes to your store and they're looking for one specific product, they buy that product, now you're sending them emails, right? And you're upselling them. You're just telling them about these other products that are related specifically to them. Most people might have, if you already have an online store, you might be doing, segmentation. You might be doing emails right now. But I would say if you're anything at least like how we were doing, you're probably just sending blanket kind of emails, right? And you're missing a lot of opportunity here to personalize the experience for your customers. That's what humans love, personalization, right? We like to feel like, the companies that we identify with them, that they're agreeable to us, we want to feel connected with them, right? And so if you're getting a bunch of emails from a company about stuff that you don't care about, you're not going to click on it. You're not going to do anything from it. It's kind of a waste, right? But if you're getting emails from from a company, right, and those emails look like they were handcrafted just specifically for you, right? You ever seen those ads where or like you're looking on your phone and you're like, oh wow, like I was just talking about jukeboxes, like why is there an ad on Instagram for jukeboxes? So that's like an effective retargeting campaign, right? Which they talk about in the book. The idea here is to basically use technology and use tracking as well as like data to be able to target, segment your users, and to be able to effectively send them to funnels and to send them to to your site in a strategic way to where you are increasing your conversions, right? So a few things that they talk about in the book that I think were really big things for me, that I wish that somebody would have told me, right? The number one thing that I just said was sending people instead to the funnel-based strategy rather than just sending them to your store, right? So what does a funnel look like? A funnel, basically just like a funnel, right? You start off big and then you get lower and lower and lower, right? So what you're going to want to do, send people to first, is typically going to be a landing page for the product, right? You're going to want to have on that landing page a headline, some pictures, a video, features and benefits, reviews, purchase incentives, retargeting pixels so you can send those ads later, and you're also going to want to have an exit intent email. You're going to want to grab these people's emails because that is the lifeblood, the lifeblood of your business, right, is going to be your email marketing. Did you know, actually, that since the whole coronavirus thing happened, there has been a 40% increase in open rates across the board for emails? Yeah, 40% increase. I mean, people aren't doing anything. They're looking online. They're playing around on their phones. They're reading their emails. Are you sending them emails? And are you sending them emails that are just to them? Or are you just sending out blanket stuff like, I hope somebody likes this? No, that is not what we're going to do anymore, right? Now we are going to be sending people specifically to what they want. And we're going to be giving the customer exactly what they want through our marketing strategies. Another thing that I thought was really interesting was the idea of kind of doing like sales boosts, right? So using loss leaders or tripwires, flash sales, and then and even adding a phone number onto the site. So just different types of promotions and ads or campaigns that you can run essentially to boost these sales. That's what the goal of it is, right? You don't have to do a giveaway all the time. You don't have to just do a sale for 25% off. To be honest with you, until I picked up this book, that was the only two things I really know how to do was just to do a giveaway on Instagram and then maybe do maybe send them a couple DMs afterwards. And then aside from that, a flash sale, we'd send an email with like 20% off. But that's not effective, and it wasn't effective. It wasn't working out for us, We've since, after picking up this book, I actually had my entire staff, read it and take a look at it, and we are starting to implement these strategies right now, if we haven't already implemented the majority of them. And I highly recommend that you do as well. So obviously the book is going to go a little bit deeper into, what exactly the funnel-based strategy looks like and how to segment your audience and your prospects and your customers from each other, and to basically do specific promotions, campaigns, and ads based on those. It also goes over some of the basics of e-commerce, right? So like, what is drop shipping? What is, how do you pick products? How much should you mark up your products? How does cost and stuff like that work? Like, what are some strategies for bringing these products to the market, right? Those are going to be some of the things that they talk about in depth, which I unfortunately just don't have the time, and honestly, you can just read the book. But there are a few more things that I did kind of want to tell you about that I think are really important, especially for communicating effectively with people online, right? So one specific thing that I think that not a lot of people understand is that in 2017, data became the most valuable asset in the world, above oil. Like, data is more expensive. Now we hear, oh, my data's been stolen. Like, are you tracking my data? Blah, blah. And we're like, we joke about it, but we don't really know what that means, right? Or at least the majority of us might not. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you today about too, is that, technology has changed the way that we communicate with each other, and it's changed the way that we see things and we see the marketplace. data is extremely, extremely important in an e-commerce site, right? Think about it like if you're running a storefront, okay? When you're running a storefront in a retail spot, a physical location, you have customers come in, right? You have a customer come into your shop, you see what they look like. You get to, you talk to them, you learn their name, you get to engage in a dialogue, right? You don't get that sort of dialogue or that sort of experience like you would do in a physical setting online. So what you've got to do is you've got to use the resources and the tools available online to get as much information as you possibly can, right? Otherwise, if you're not doing anything like that, right? You don't understand who your customers are. You're not looking at your customer data. It's essentially the same thing as you just opening up a retail store, putting on a blindfold, and then just yelling out of the street to get people to come to your shop, right? You have no idea who you're targeting. You have no idea who you're trying to get to come into your store. You're just like, hey, I sell CBD. Anybody want some? Anybody want some CBD? Huh? How's that ad been working out for you? Huh? Oh, THC free. You're going to love it. Yeah, we got lab tests. Cool. So does everybody else have lab tests, right? You're not bringing any value. You're not talking to that audience member. You're not targeting them, right? You're shouting in the street. So you've got to learn how to effectively manage your data and how to effectively collect that data. So one of the quotes that I like that they talk about in the book is that half the money I spend on advertisement is wasted, and the problem is that I don't know what half, right? And I think that's kind of an issue for a lot of people, right? Like when I was first starting out, to be honest with you, I was just kind of throwing it out there, right? I was giving away products. I was just like, hey, I just need to get it out, right? I just want to get started. I just need to get the product out there and then it'll catch on. I kept waiting for this moment where all of a sudden things were going to go viral. I was going to make all this money and it was going to be crazy, right? But I didn't have a clear plan. I didn't have the necessary infrastructure or really capability to get that big that quick. And it really forced me to kind of take a step back and look at things objectively and how to kind of improve not only my own site, but our strategy for talking to our customers. Like I said, you don't get that dialogue with them, so you've got to do everything you can to still improve the user experience, right? Because human psychology doesn't change whether or not that they're looking at something online or they're talking to somebody in person, right? Humans are still going to behave the same way that they're going to behave. It's up to us as marketers or strategic thinkers to be able to predict how they behave, right? So you can use things like Google Analytics, Alexa, for key data on your target demographic. You can also use tools like Facebook Insights, Google, SimilarWeb, niche magazines, SEMrush. There's literally so much information out there, so many tools that you can use. I highly recommend you jot down all of those, by the way, because those are really, really useful. But you can find so much stuff about your customers, right? I can tell you right now what the age of our customers are, whether or not they're married, if they have kids, where they're living, where they're coming from, if they're on mobile or they're on desktop, what time they're visiting the site, what they're looking at, how much time they're spending on the site, everything, and it's having that, not just having that information is one thing, right? Because I feel like a lot of people might have access to that information. The biggest thing is then being able to take actionable insights from that data, right? So kind of moving forward with your site and with your online store in general, you're really going to want to kind of narrow down your approach to communicating with your customers by using your data and also by understanding the fact that you don't want to be that guy that's just out on the street, shouting, hey, yeah, look at my stuff. It's a waste of money and it's a waste of time. So make sure that, if you are going to start an e-commerce site and if you are going to, go in, or try to improve your business, that you're doing it effectively and you're doing it in a smart way, right? Stop sending traffic to your online store. And remember the big 3 rules, right? Which are going to be, or the big 3 ways to grow your business, which are going to be to get more customers, to increase the size of your orders, and to increase the order frequency. Now, I know that this, isn't quite the full comprehensive summary of exactly what it talks about in the book, but I think that it gives you a good idea as far as like what it's kind of like leading into, and I hope that I was able to kind of explain some things for you, and at least kind of give you a little bit of insight into the importance of studying how to communicate effectively through different technologies, how to use the tools and the mediums in a way that's, growing your business, connecting with customers, and really just making the world a better place, right? I don't think that it's like I said, really fair for people to not have this information, people to not, and to feel like it's an impossible feat. I've seen people go from nothing to making hundreds of thousands of dollars with an e-commerce site. They're working from wherever, like they're not, like I said, no overhead, no real, issues. You're sitting at home right now, like, what do you really have to lose, If you have any questions about it, feel free to, drop a comment, send me an email or a DM. I'm sure, I'd be happy to help you out a little bit and maybe give you a little bit of advice. Definitely check out the book, though, if you're interested in this kind of stuff. I know it's a little bit different than, what we typically talk about in, interpersonal communication skills class, but I do think that it's very important that we get to a point where academia recognizes the fact that the world is changing. The economy's changing, society's changing, our culture's changing. We are shifting towards an online model, and the research can't keep up, right? Marketers aren't academics. And if you have a really good marketer who knows how to do digital marketing or ad campaigns really, really effectively, chances are they're probably not going to give that information away for free, right? I'm in a unique situation because it doesn't really bother me, right? I'm in the CBD space. Not really a lot of people are, and to be honest with you, good luck getting the merchant processing if you wanted to try and just take our whole strategy. That's going to be the real kicker for you. But either way, I think that it's important for us to realize that there are different ways of communicating with others, and that there are different ways of communicating effectively online that need to be researched, that need to be looked at, and that need to be adapted in order for us to survive in the new world. Thank you for your time. I hope that this helped out. I appreciate it. Peace out.